Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another edition of our weekly real estate backstory, where we kind of go over all the comings, the goings, the things happening in the real estate world here in the Atlanta market. My name is Alan Richards. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And so we want to kind of jump right in and start off by talking about buyer brokerage agreements. And so, as of the 17th, the new law of the land is we have to have a written buyer agreement prior to showing a property. And we want to talk just briefly here because there's been a lot of talk where people are wanting to talk about how they can get around doing that instead of actually like looking at how we can
Is they doing it
true
just right?
well, not just doing right, but like there is so many benefits in actually doing buyer broker and having a written buyer brokerage agreement signed. When you do that, you get a client who really understands, like
The
what the home buying
process,
process
the
is on there.
procedure, and it really take away a lot of anxiety and the unknown. So honestly, you need to treat the buyer like your seller,
Mhm.
whereas they have the right to know this is whatever decision they do choose will affect how the outcome will be. So
Yeah, it offers great transparency. It really helps your clients to truly understand what it's like to work with you. What are the expectations on both sides? These are the services I provide. These are the fees that I charge. Who's getting paid? All those kind of things are really really wise. One other thing that we really want to strongly encourage you to do is also look at this from a agent safety point of view. We're moving
mhm,
into Agent Safety Month, but we just had, uh,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, like operating safe is so important. When you use a buyer agreements prior to showing property, you're going to really save yourself the risk of like, do I want to meet somebody, like down a dirt road, out behind a fence, back where they store the chainsaws, kind of thing. I mean, but sometimes we
No.
will we put ourselves into some challenging situations. So we just had a fellow realtor out of Canada, unfortunately, that like the day before she disappeared, what was just got awarded as a top sales
High
agent.
performance
And
agent.
so now here we are, and we're mourning her passing. They have found her, and she's been murdered. And so we have to make sure that we're being really really smart. And so this idea of buyer brokerage agreements, like, this is a solid way to do business. This is how you protect yourself as well as your clients.
Well, not only that, this is about, real estate, like we said before, is all about
Mhm.
relationship. And this assure that you do have established relationship along with trust with your client.
Yeah. Now, also, we still have, and please look at utilizing Forewarn. It's been part of Georgia MLS, and now it's also part of FMLS. So you have no reason. It doesn't cost anything. And so you can get out and activate your Forewarn account. It lets you check out your clients before you actually go meet them. So if you're using tools like Forewarn and you're actually getting your buyer brokerage agreement signed in advance, that's a
It's pretty solid. And
yeah,
understand, forewarm is not for you just check your neighbor out or anybody else out. This is
yeah.
legitimately for a client that you have never seen. So don't abuse it because your account may be turned off by forewarn.
Yeah. Now, a couple of things coming up with Greg right now. So Greg sends out a monthly newsletter, and in the newsletter, they're really
Hmm.
talking about trust funds. And anytime that Greg brings something up, that's because they're seeing an issue or they're seeing an uptick in issues with trust funds. So remember, trust funds are just that. This is where the public has trusted us with their money. And so with trust funds, it's a very important thing. Now, for us, a lot of times the way we treat trust funds is it's like a hammer for a contractor.
Yes.
And so we've had agents who are like, oh, it's in between the seats somewhere in my car, or like
Or I
you
can't
can't
get
do
a
that.
buyer, the buyers goes to me, or what have you. When you guys have a situation like that, please,
Yeah,
please notify your broker because just so you know, if you have a third party like closing attorney, holder, earnest money, if they don't sign the form F 511, guess who's the alternative holder? The buyer's
Buyer's
broker.
broker. Yeah.
And as a buyer's broker, if I was not aware of anything that is going on in reference to earnest money, I might be liable.
Know your brokerage's rules as it pertains to trust funds as quickly as possible. Get them turned in. Don't wait. Just hang on to them. That kind of stuff. That's where problems happen. Don't commingle funds. Don't change the way that it's that if somebody gives you cash, hopefully you don't take cash, but you have to make sure that you don't go and put that in your own account, then issue a check for it, that kind of stuff. Don't play any games with trust funds is really what we're trying to say.
Absolutely. And just so you know, if you are reported to GREC, minimum fine is $600 for you and your broker, and also further education on top of it.
Now, one other thing coming out of GREC right now is they put forth a new required education, and they just had the meeting talking about it. And this is broker education. And so the new rule that they're in the process of putting in place, and we're all for here, is that brokers and or associate brokers have to have at least 18 hours of continue education on the topic of broker education. It's part of the 18 will be part of your 36. 3 is still license law. But now, if you're an associate broker or broker, you're going to be having to have 18 hours of broker education. Now, we don't know what that looks like. It's still coming down the road. I'm just trying to give you kind of like a head up.
What's coming up?
Yeah, they're looking at this not going into effect starting July 1st in 2025. But be ready, right? I'm just letting you know that it's coming along, right? I want to share this headline with you, and it's one of those headlines that's designed to kind of get you kind of wound up. And so, headline is: typical buyer's agent earns 2.55 in commission, a rate that has declined since the NAR settlement was announced. And
like
so,
I told you guys before, if it's not a headline, it won't grab
right.
anybody's attention.
And so, but then they put forward and they say, look at this graph, and you think, whoo wee, that is really, man, look at what commissions dropped. Okay, guys, it went from 2.63 to 2.55. Okay, yes, is that down? But they're not making this graph. Like if you were to put this graph in normal, it would look like beep 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 beep, right? Don't let this get all wound up. Now here in Georgia, the average commission earned prior to was 2.88, and now it's 2.82, and that's just these are just averages. We are, there is no set commission, there's no standard commission, there's nothing like that. That being said, you need to be ready to present to your clients, these are the services I provide, these are the fees that I charge,
right.
And please stand up for yourselves. You work hard for what, we bust our tails, we always have. We're very proud of what we do, and we stand up for the money that we make.
Well, it's like being a professional in any field. Okay, you are worth the knowledge, the resource, the thought pattern, the ability to negotiate for your client. So, if you don't value that, then you may want to think about alternative sources of income.
I mean, you have the ability to discount yourself if that's what you choose to do.
If that's your business model,
right?
That is perfectly fine. But understand what you're earning at the end of the day.
We're big proponents of like, stand up for yourselves. The folks who give in on their rates and that kind of stuff are normally the ones who don't bring it up to begin with. So use
be comfortable. And know your self-worth.
So good news.
Yay!
Mortgage rates are continuing to decline. The Fed's going to be meeting next week, and everybody
is talking about
it. And even they've even released the notes from the Fed where they're all already talking about it's going to be dropping. So I think everyone's starting to see that. We're even seeing where the market is actually already pricing those rates down. So we're looking at this thing continuing to tip down. We've said, go ahead.
And the thing is too is that with the rates down, it makes affordability a lot easier for some folks.
I think I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, okay. Because right now, for the first time in a long time, home buyer housing payments are under last year. And so we're seeing where the rates are equating into real dollars, into real savings for our clients. And guess what? Like that 6.46 whatever rate kind of thing, FHA is running about a half point less than that. We're seeing some loans come in under 6 right now,
Yes.
and it's real. You're like, that's a big deal for a lot of your clients. It really, really does. Now, one other headline that we wanted to share, and this is from National Association of Realtors, and they're kind of heightened. They're like, hey, existing home sales advanced 1.3, ending a 4-month skid, and that's true, but it's not really true. Okay, and what I mean by that is it up month over month? So June to July, that's up. How about when you look at it compared to all the other Julys that we've had? Oh, say for the last 12 years. It's the worst July we've had in the last 12 years. So let's just be real honest about it. So we're down about 2.5% from last year. Now, the reason I'm a couple of things. One is, has interest rates been holding us back? You better believe it. Are they
Absolutely.
holding us back in the future? No. There is a ton of pent up demand, is what I'm really wanting you to see. Is that the levels of inventory, I mean, the levels of activity is like we're down a lot just from our seasonal norms. This is going to pick up. Engaging with your clients right now is crucial, especially heading into the fall. We're heading into a fall that's going to be unlike most falls that we've had in the past, right? This is going to be a fall where we're seeing interest rates continuing to soften, to get to decline. Inventory's up. This is a great time. It's going to be a great fall for buyers right now. And so we need to be building those and engaging with those clients right this minute. So now, as far as other numbers here, we're still seeing where median sales prices are up 3.6 year over year right now. Our new listings are up. They're only up about 3%, and that's really kind of tapered off a little bit. We were seeing big numbers on new listings of homes being up. That's really kind of tapered off from where it was. Overall, we have about 18% nationwide. We have about 25% more inventory here in Georgia overall. So we do have a lot more listings for our buyers, which is, again, really good news. All that being said, though, I mean, does that mean no homes are selling?
They are selling. If you price them right, 37% of pending home sales are under contract within 2 weeks. So there are a lot of pent up demand, like Alan said, and buyer has been working really hard lately, trying to get the money saved up and work on their credit so they can afford property, versus going there with minimum credit and minimum payments.
Yeah, but if your clients are throwing those prices out there that are not realistic, they're sitting there because it was what was it, almost 37% sold within or under contract 2 weeks.
29% so above final list price. So if you list them right, once again, you'll get multiple contracts.
But at the same time, we this is a divided market. So at the same time, we have some of the more properties with price reductions than we've had ever, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really is. So we have the folks who are being, I'll just overly optimistic on their pricing, and their houses are just sitting. Right. The other thing that we're seeing go on right now.
Well, this is where the relationship between the agent and the homeowner, they need to have a really great consultation up front, outline expectations.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, some folks feel like their home is this much while the market is indicating this much, and it's a home's only worth what the buyer's willing to pay for, and it is sometimes a timing issue.
Yeah. Now, all that being said, the other thing that we're seeing right now is we're moving into a balanced market. More home buyers are backing out of deals. 15% of deals are dying right now. That's up. And our buyers are being way more selective than they can be. We're in a balanced market. The sellers don't hold all the cards. We have a lot of sellers who still think it's a seller's market.
I think it's about the price point. There are some. If you're still at the startup homes, there's a lot more selling power. But if you're on the average,
depends on the price point
up,
for sure.
Yeah, move up. It's pretty much what I'm seeing out there is a 50-50.
Well, but what we're seeing is a lot. We lost a couple of contracts this past week where the seller was not willing to make repairs, so the buyers walked. And so that's just 2 deals in 1 week that went by the wayside. where, if in the past, remember summer of 2021,
Yeah.
like it didn't matter. You didn't have to fix up anything. That's not the market now.
But the
So
price was much lower too
yeah,
back then.
yeah,
So
also true. All right, so Zillow has come out and predicted their year, or what's happening with home prices. And you may not love Zillow, you may love Zillow, but like, you can't deny that they are huge aggregators of data. And so they're looking at just home prices being up almost at 1%, 0.9. Here in the Atlanta area, they're looking at overall Atlanta being a 1.1% property value appreciation. I think we're probably going to be closer to 2 or 3, but
depends on location.
yeah,
So understand that's overall Georgia.
yeah. So, but all in all, slow, steady, modest growth. It's a really healthy place for us to be, to let the market kind of
Absolutely.
catch up. Now, one area where home buyers are really starting to abound are with sinks. Ever heard of sinks?
Single income with no kids.
Single income, no kids, women with no children are buying up homes in droves. You can see what's happened both with single males as well as single females. Single females buy a lot more properties than single males. I mean, not quite double, but pretty significantly more. But like, just one of those things to like tie in on is, the average single female homeowner is between 35 and 60. That's almost in that 50 to 60 range is where the most of those single female homeowners are. And this is one area that we kind of feel is kind of underserved market inside. Like I don't know a lot of realtors who really intentionally reach out and talk about the needs of single female buyers out there. So I think that there's a good opportunity for that.
Absolutely.
Now, at the same time, we still have affordability. Affordability issues, but most of that is tied up heavily around availability and inventory. And so Freddie Mac came out with a new study showing that we're at 1.5 million housing units below a balanced market. And so we know that that's really a big deal. Now, new construction is definitely going to be a big piece. You can see, this is kind of where we've been building. Even prior to 2007, 2008, we were just starting to get to the actual completions that we needed, and then after the market crash, it really dropped. We really, we're nowhere near what we need now, and we did, right now it's become a big political thing as well. Both candidates heavily talking about housing inventory and all that, and we are 1,000% for getting more inventory. That's going to handle affordability, availability for our clients. That's a really good thing. But this is kind of where we're at right now. And the bad news here is that overall housing starts, building permits are down. Our builders are still feeling kind of very
The
pessimistic
confidence
right
is
now.
not as high.
Yeah, and then building permits. One is when we actually start, the other is when they actually submit the permits. Both of those are down right now. And we really need to see those numbers shift back up. We are expecting that to happen once we see a little bit of a bump
Interest
in
really.
interest rates, when that
Well,
continues to go
what's
down.
interesting is I talk to some folks and they're like, housing has gone up, but yet they have not seen an increase in their paycheck. So therefore, that's what makes affordability
Hmm.
difficult for most of them.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that we constantly hear all the time, and part of this is just, a lot of folks want to see some foreclosures. They want those cheap inventory. However, even zombie foreclosure rate is as low as it was when the foreclosure moratorium was in place. Now, all a zombie foreclosure is, those are those vacant houses that just sit there and no one knows what's going on. There's just this random house with the grass overgrown. Look, foreclosures are still at their lowest level. And honestly, if you knew, if you were, well, we don't really know a lot of people who are upside down on properties, but if you were, but if bad economic times come, you're going to sell. There's just not a big REO market out there.
And not just it, unless you bought your home within a year and you, for some reason, have lost job or what have you, yes, it can be affordability issue. Now, for those that have bought 2 or 3 years prior to, even with those folks, they still have equity. And I have seen cases where they
Mhm.
are selling because they no longer is able to afford a home.
Yeah, but that's
But they're
please,
walking away
yeah,
with average $25 to $50,000
yeah.
in their pocket, if
So
not more. Sorry.
yeah. Now Thursday, September 5th is the Metro South Association Realtors Real Estate Trade Show and Expo. That's coming up.
Please
That's going to be
join
at Hood Street. However, the big deal that we're ready to talk about is this week is Tom Ferry. We got Tom
Woohoo!
Ferry
Tomorrow.
27th, 28th, 29th. All of our office, actually, in almost all the Max One offices in the entire Atlanta area, kind of thing. Everyone's doing it now. Understand that these 3 days are all different. So like day one, it starts off. We're starting off at 10 o'clock in that day, and like when you look at the just the quality of content, like all these things is this is everything that's just being covered on day one, and
Eh,
it's staggering.
So if you think that you're done after day one, let me tell you,
No, no,
day
no, no.
two and
Day two,
three
day two,
are full of
right? Again, they go through
tricks and
the
tools.
entire thing, and so like you're going to get 6 hours of CE every day. You're going to get amazing content. We like the books are printed. We're set up and ready to go. It's just going to be like if you actually went to the summit in
Correct.
person, only you didn't have to pay, and we provided lunch and breakfast for you.
Pretty good gig.
Real good dude. Now on day three, again, same kind of thing. Like breaking in the luxury market, list like a machine.
And we
Best
do have
listed.
a lot of agents that wants to break into the luxury market. So this is a really great topic.
There's always amazing content every single year. Please take the time, invest in yourself to come in. Like this is for you to help
Build your business.
like reinvigorate yourself, learn, be ready to jump out there into the marketplace and just knock it dead. So please come join us. We look forward to seeing you. And then again, that's
That's all we're
everything that
doing
we're
this
doing
week.
this week. So if we can be of any kind of service, please call Text Smoke Signals. We're going to be bouncing in all the Tom Ferries and hopefully seeing you all this week. So love you.
Thank you. Have a
Deuces.
great day.